Hi everyone, this is Saurabh. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today the most important topic which every startup and top drug-based companies have started this trend to ask the behavioral questions in their rounds so that they can assess your personality and the fitment in the role. Okay, so I have thought to create a video to showcase that with you do not need to prepare all kind of questions. All you need to have a trick like how you can prepare 4 to 5 stories, and you can play around with those stories in all kind of questions. So the crux is you do not need to go all the questions and then prepare a story or something like that. So you can assume like 4 to 5 or 6 stories based on a different situations you can prepare, and you need to speak on them only because the questions which are being asked are quite interrelated. Okay, so let's begin with the slide, and let's see like what kind of questions it is the pattern is. So the why it is asked in the questions, that as I all these kind of questions, as I have already discussed, to assess your personality and the predicting the fitment in a role from past experiences, how you respond in different situations at the given time in the past. Okay, so इसमें कैंडिडेट का बेसिकली आपको उन्हें ये पता करना होता है कि ये कैंडिडेट जो है आगे जाके परफॉर्म कैसा करेगा, लास्ट में उसने कैसे कैसे सिचुएशंस हैंडल करे हुए हैं, or whether this candidate has faced a kind of pressurized situation, उसने किस तरीके से respond किया है, तो क्या इस रोल में अगर प्रेशर आ गया तो ये क्या हैंडल कर पाएगा या नहीं कर पाएगा, या किस तरीके से इसके आउटकम्स आएंगे। तो इस तरीके से कुछ असेसमेंट हो जाता है, इसलिए वो रख लेते हैं राउंड बिहेवियरल का। Okay, let's move to the what is star pattern. So basically to tackle these kind of questions, we have star pattern, which is most effective pattern, because if you want to answer these kind of questions, I'm pretty much sure you will be very much nervous if you have not prepared your story. You will be very nervous because I remember when I appeared my first interview in Amazon, then I was not able to think of what story I need to deliver, because at that time every other story was coming into my mind simultaneously, and I was not able to get the conclusion which story I should tell. Okay, and it was not very much formatted. It was like a very rough story, and that didn't work. It was actually showing that I am not prepared. So there is a one basic formula to tackle these kind of questions is star pattern. So star patterns is basically nothing but situation, action, task, result. Maybe you can sequence it: situation, task, action, result, right? So you need to create your story and put the right adjectives. So every company has some leadership principles. Amazon leadership principles are very much popular in the market, which are 14 leadership principles. So in BARRAISER or every round of interview, they might put one question related to your behavioral question, and they can ask tell me a kind of situation type questions. Okay, so all you need to have it to frame your story in this star pattern. So and put a right objective. So for example, if you talk about the Amazon leadership principles, they have like customer obsession and bias for action, learn to be curious, and 14 leadership principles. So they want to extract the leadership principles from your talkings. Okay, whatever you are sharing the experiences, they want to extract, okay, based on his answer, whether any leadership principles I can get from his conversation or not. So for example, if I say, okay, I work with that customer very closely, and I just served him well. Okay, so it shows my customer obsession leadership principles, which is necessary. Okay, so in this way they try to extract leadership principles from you. So the best part is either you tell all the story to them and let them extract leadership principles for you, or the best way is you throw some keywords which essentially shows these leadership principles automatically, right? So this is the trick actually you need to play. So if I will throw these keywords like tight, strict deadline, that shows I am good to work under pressure. I always welcome new learning. I'm not satisfied with the new. I always set my goals. Okay, to learn more and more. So this is something it shows like you are learned to be curious. So every other this bullet point is mapped one of the leadership principles from Amazon. Okay, so if it's not always the Amazon, it can be fitted to any company, any startup, any good product based company, because this is the trend right now. Okay, so you can probably leverage these kind of keywords, and you can start uh, having those keywords on your fingertips. Okay, so I prioritize my task to align my deliverables, create a to-do list. To-do list means you are very much prioritizing your work, and quickly perform means you are just biased for action. You're not taking that much time, you're judiciously making some decisions. Okay, you do not like to lose the trust of your manager or client. It shows that you are gaining the trust. Okay, earn trust basically. This is the leadership principle. So this kind of points you can uh, have on your fingertips. This will very much helpful. Okay, next, these are pretty much questions, okay, which you will be looking at. Okay, before any interview, just create 5 to 6 stories. I'm again telling, not all the stories. So, give an example of occasion when you solved a best problem at work. Okay, so didn't you think, or don't you think like you can relate this problem or this question to the tell me situation when you handled a tough task. Okay, so if you will prepare one story for the tough task, you can insert, or you can play with that answer into this question. Okay, so that will help you not to take that much time to think about the story, but immediately you can think, okay, which story I have prepared on my notes, and I can start talking about that. Okay, so it will take hardly 5 to 6 seconds to think about the story which you have prepared already, and just start talking on that. So how do you handle a challenge? How do you handle a challenge? So it is also like you can talk about the tell me a situation when you handle a tough task. Okay, so tough task, if you prepare tough task, handle a tough challenge, or occasion when you solve the best problem at work. So these are interrelated questions. Only one story will work for all these questions. Okay, no, don't need to prepare each and everything. Just prepare one story and try to see these questions like where you can fit. Okay, so wherever you can fit, just tick mark. Okay, this is handled by the one story, this is handled by the one story, this is handled by one story. So these kind of questions. Let's see the teamwork. Give an example how you worked on a team. Okay, have convinced the team to work on that they are thrilled about. Okay, so these are some questions in which they want to work, or the conflict with the manager, the conflict with your peers. So these kind of questions is pretty much asked into these kind of companies. So you can prepare one question related to conflict with your team. Okay, or conflict with your manager, and how did you handle it. So that story, if you'll prepare, probably you can share that story with all kind of questions which you think, okay, here I can insert this story and frame the answer very much good. Okay, so this will work every time, because this formula I have shared with a couple of people who tried to interview at Amazon, and they successfully cracked Amazon. So this will work for any organization. It's not specific to the particular company. So just follow this rule. Apart from it, under pressure skills. Okay, so these are the questions are also pretty much asked, like when you handled a meeting a tight deadline. Okay, so you remember, handled a tough task, tight deadline, solved a great problem at work. Okay, handled difficult situations. So all these things are very much related. So not very much stories you need to prepare, just 3 or 4. In my at my time of interview, I prefer 5 stories. Jot it down on the paper and pen, practice lot much. Okay, and when I was very fluent while delivering the story, then I thought, okay, it will not take 2 to 3 seconds, and I will be fluently delivering that story to the interviewer. So it shows the confidence basically. These are the miscellaneous questions which are pretty much asked. Tell me a type when you leave task unfinished. Tell me if you invented something. Tell me it influenced by only one question. Something like that. Okay, you can go through these slides. I can share this PDF in the comment. Probably you can have a look. These are the 14 leadership principles. Okay, if you are not aware, uh, just don't leave them, because I have heard like very many candidates, those are very much confident on their technical skills or every other skills, but are not they are not prepared in terms of leadership principles. They eventually get a rejection, because this is not a joke. You cannot probably say, okay, I will make a story then and there in an interview. No, you cannot. I'm just guaranteeing you cannot. Because if you will be prepared, then it will actually look like you're prepared. Because whenever you prepare something, then 80% you can deliver, because some candidates are face some nervousness because they cannot deliver that much, okay, in the interview. So if you are prepared like 100%, then probably 80% best you can provide to your in your interview. So this is 14 leadership principles. You can go through those leadership principles, understand what each leadership principles is telling to you, and then you can try to frame your answers in such a way so that it shows one of the leadership principles. It is not something we grill on the 14 leadership principles altogether, but if two or three leadership principles are getting reflected from a conversation, that will be enough. So I have prepared one nice question, and see how I have framed it. Have sparked for many candidates, so you can go through it. Okay, so this is the question actually. Tell me a situation when you have handled a tough task. Okay, so you can start from the situation. What was the situation? It should not be two or three liner, it should be a whole story. They can cross question you for every word you are delivering to them. Okay, they can cross question like, okay, tell me, okay, how was it, and how did you handle it, why didn't you do it like that. Okay, so these kind of questions you can expect from the interview, because they are very much interested to hear a nice story from your end, right? So let me read this for you. Situation. So, okay, if somebody asks me, okay, tell Saurabh, tell me situation when you handled a tough task. So I would start probably like this way. Okay, well, this is the very nice question, and it has been happened in my previous experiences. And I remember that there was a time back in 2015 when I was working on XYZ project, and one of my colleagues accidentally left the organization. Okay, the project on which he was working was very critical for us, and my manager asked like who will volunteership this project, because that was very critical, and the person who was accidentally left did not provide any documentation or the knowledge transfer to anybody. Since I always welcome to the new learning, I decided to take this responsibility. The task was to perform the XYZ. Okay, XYZ means you want to integrate some APIs, execution of tests, whatever. Okay, so this was the additional task from my regular project task. So I prioritized. If you think prioritize, that means you work with some strategy, not the random task. Okay, so I prioritized my task and made a to-do list. It shows like how you work in how you work in your when n number of requirements are there, then how you prioritize or not your task, so that I don't miss any deliverable which is near in dates. Rather than going to the details of the newly assigned task and reading the documentation to get insight of the project, I thought to schedule the calls with the folks who had already worked on this project earlier and left the team. So that means the candidate who just switched the team but previously they was working. So here the trick is, I do not want to go all rigorous documentation to waste my time. Okay, rather than why not to have a glimpse from those folks so that they can easily deliver the knowledge whatsoever they have. Okay, so I just prepared the solution like this way. So I scheduled a call with them, understood the requirement thoroughly, and got this approved by my manager. Got this approved by manager is something so that I'm not missing any requirement, and my manager has put a stamp on my requirement analysis, right? So in this way, I got a clear understanding of the project on which I needed to work. Some information which was not clear to me, I looked upon the documents and gathered the requirement from there as well. So it resembles that you are not only depending on those colleagues who are sharing the information with you, but you are also looking for the documentation as well, little bit, so that if something is not clear, probably you can cross verify and like that. Okay, so now it comes to action. So after understanding the project, I started working on it. Since the deadline was very critical, so focus on the adjectives since the and emphasize it, okay, so that it looks you actually worked on it. Okay, so after understanding the project, I started working on it since the deadline was very, very critical and I did not want to lose the trust of my client. So I stressed my time, put some extra efforts after my regular shifts. Okay, so it shows like you are ready to push your limits when it comes to deliver some results. So it's something like how much you are enthusiastic to fulfill the requirement, or mm, you are something, okay, when the company needs you very much, you are there. You are not saying, okay, no, I have a weekend, I need to enjoy my life, right? So that's kind of thing they want to sense. I remember that at the time I was skipping lunch of my colleagues, so it shows your dedicated, you know like how much you are dedicated towards your work. Skipping lunch from the colleagues as well, just to finish my work before the deadline. And I remember after so much continuous efforts, I was able to complete the task before 2 days of that tight strict deadline. Okay, so this kind of action you can speak and focus on the adjective like prioritize my task. Okay, tight strict deadline, I always welcome new learning. Okay, so these kind of adjectives you can have on your fingertips and try to rotate those in every kind of story. Okay, and the result, so always do a happy uh, result in the end. Okay, so after signing off the allocated task, my manager appreciated my effort when my project needed a resource very much in the peak time. I gained the trust of my manager and the client as well, and the client was extremely happy to see the team effort. They sent an appreciation mail to the whole team, looping me. I felt very much motivated after working on the task because it was very new to me and I delivered it before the deadline. So this is actually a great result, which, and maybe you can add what learnings it you gain from this while executing this task. So you can probably add those as well. So this is the basic template I have shared with you. You can probably add, remove anything from it, and your story will be prepared. So in the mind you will be like putting these headings: situation, okay, 3 to 4 lines I need to speak; task, I need to create a nice task; action, and 4 to 5 lines of action, whatever the adjective you could choose, this is up to you. And the result, you need to provide a good result. Okay, so this whole story is the perfect example to tackle these kind of behavioral questions. Okay, I guess it will help you while delivering any kind of story in your any interview. Okay, so thank you very much to visit this PDF, and I guess it will help you in your interview. And feel free to join my Telegram channel, and there I share these kind of questions which are quite being asked, and in every kind of company. I cannot share the exact questions which are being asked in my company because of this non-disclosure agreement, but these are pretty much available in all the website. You, if you search or if you Google it, okay, so you will get everywhere. So just prepare 5 stories, try to tick mark whether the 5 stories you have prepared is fulfilling those questions or not. Okay, so this will help you to understand, okay, whether these 5 stories are enough or you need to prepare 6 story to tackle something different kind of question. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this, and maybe I will next time I will create some more questions related to behavioral, but I think this should be enough. So thank you very much. See you in the next video. Bye.